Hello, welcome to day 21 of our 21-day Summer Connection Challenge. Today we are considering, or we are talking about, celebrate the individuality of your children. You know, I was telling someone 21 days of showing up right here to have this conversation with you. Even my even my exercise haven't been that consistent, but because people were counting on me, I showed up, and people were cheering me on. I couldn't let anyone down. Anyway, I'll just share that to say accountability matters. Today we are looking at celebrate the individuality of your children. I want to start us with a quote in my book, Practically Connected Parenting, 21 Ways to Create Timeless Memories in the Teenage Years, by yours truly, Remi Ayodele. At the beginning of chapter 21, there's a quote here. Every child is a masterpiece, designed uniquely, gifted differently, and needed completely. Let me say that again. I think I want to hear it again. To celebrate the individuality of our children, especially in the teenage years, we have to remember that every child is a masterpiece, designed uniquely, gifted differently, and needed completely. When we have that at the back of our mind, I cannot but ask us this question. Have you tried parenting strategy, the same one for every child in your house? How did that work? Why is it something that cheers one up, frustrates the other? If you've been there, I need your hands up. I could even raise my own legs up here. The point is this. When we try to be fair and raise our children the same way, we're missing something. There is no one size fits all when it comes to parenting. In fact, instead of being fair, you could be getting unfair. We discovered this truth over time, my husband and I, that our children are just so uniquely different. I mean, you know it, we knew it. But there's something when you know it, but you see it show up every day in every conversation. They have different personalities. They have different motivations, different dreams, different fears. And for me, because I always like to find things out, I'm like, okay, why is this structure working for this child, but it's not working for that other child? And I have one of my children, you have to ask the right question to get her to talk. And you have the other one that will explain everything right away. So how do you solve that? I'm thinking about even the issue of correction. You correct your child, one child this way. I'm just thinking of a scenario, but for their privacy protection, I'm not going to share what happened. But you give this person this correction, it works. You give the other child the same correction, it doesn't work. So what do? For me, I'm so happy because that's when I discovered and became certified consultant in DISC method of human behavior. It was just a huge eye-opener for me. It's like, you know what? Using my glasses to see clearly. And it opened a door for me to stop guessing, but to be intentional. Now, when anything happens or I'm having a conversation with each child, my brain is zooming into what personality is showing up at this moment. And it helps me calm down as I'm conversing with them. It helps me tailor even their learning to how that personality learns. And it helps me to see that even to resolve a conflicting situation, what will this personality thrive in so that I can do it right? I mean, there's no perfect. Remember, we say there's no perfect. I started with there's no perfect parent. We want to be present and intentional parents so that we can be practically connected with our children. I know I'm talking with a thinking voice today because I want us to go on this journey together. I'm going to share something with you. Talking about individuality, I'll start with hats. So, this one is my hat. Well, one of my hats. So, when you have your own hat, it fits you. It fits you well. So, this is my hat. I'm going to share you my husband's hat. So, when he's going for his jog, he puts on his hat. Well, it fits him. It sort of fits me, but yeah, it fits him. This is what individuality looks like. Okay, let me show my son's hat. I've told you a lot that he likes basketball, so yes, of course. It is a basketball hat. One of his favorite teams. So my son's hat. It fits him. He chooses different hats. Let me show you my younger daughter's hat. She got this at a conference a while back. She only brings it out for special occasions. But this is it. This is my younger daughter's hat. It fits her. She chose it herself. And finally, my older daughter, we were on, I think we went for a conference. She found this hat. Sort of fit me a little snug. But these are 5 different hats. Let's think of it in terms of personality. When we allow each person and we see them with the hats they have on, we begin to treat them with kindness, with love. We can truly celebrate the personality of our children. So I'm going to go to my notes here. It's not just that you're celebrating their personality. It is that when you begin to treat your children with that uniqueness, this is what I found out for us as a family. Our daughter, with a strong, driven spirit, got the tennis coaching she needed and played varsity tennis in high school because that's what suits her in her growth for that particular activity. Our son, with endless energy and love for connection, he thrived in a basketball team. Our quiet daughter, creative and observant, she discovered her voice in photography and she joined the yearbook and enjoyed that experience. She's our family's favorite photographer. So when we zoom in into the celebrating the unique personality of our children, we're helping them to build confidence. We're helping them to show up confidently. And one other thing we're doing is it reduces conflict between parents and teenagers. And we can create lasting memories together. But you might say, oh, these are just hobbies. Well, what is it that your children engage in? Because it's not just about the hobby. It's about how we are parenting them so they can thrive in whatever they have chosen to do. We do not want them to be a cookie cutter child. One size fits all. That is not in reality when it comes to children. I want to take you back to something my parents did. So we're going to go back to my book, Practically Connected Parenting. And I'll zoom into page 162 of chapter 21. Growing up, my parents had a unique way of nurturing individuality in our family. There were 5 of us. Even though we were a close-knit family, my parents found simple yet effective ways to honor our differences while fostering independence. By celebrating our individuality, they removed unnecessary competition and comparison among us. Instead, they help us recognize our own strength, appreciate each other's differences, and support one another rather than compete. We weren't just siblings, we were allies, a built-in support system rooted in mutual respect and understanding. I mean, I tell you a story in here how each person handled money, made decisions from their own mouth. So when you get your copy, you can find that in chapter 21. As I was preparing for this session, it occurred to me that even though we know the individuality of our children, even though we're willing to raise them with that unique individuality, there's a bigger force that plays into how we actually implement it. And that force is what kind of parent we are. So that it's not just enough to understand our children's personalities and individuality, we must understand ours too, and the overlays of how we were brought up. Remember, your personality is largely comprised of 3 things: your DNA, that doesn't change, the people who raised you, and then the environment you grew up in. So if we put all this together, we want to ask ourselves, what kind of parent am I? Because even though I know this is my child, and I want to raise them according to their unique personality, but who am I? And how does that play out when I'm interacting with them? I want to share with us. So in my research, I found 4 kinds of parents. The first one is authoritative parenting. They have high warmth and high expectation. The description is they are responsive, nurturing, and firm. Parents that set clear boundaries but encourage independence and open dialogue. In other words, they are loving and they have clear rules. I'm going to use my cup as an illustration for the authoritative parenting. An example is when the teenager says, "Mom, I want to go to the movies with my friends." The parent will say, "Yes, you can go, but be home by 9 p.m. And let's talk first about who is going and how you're getting there." So this parent is listening, they're setting limits, they're explaining why, and the teen feels trusted, safe, and responsible. What does that do for the individuality of that child? It encourages children to express their opinion, explore their passion, and grow in confidence. So parents who are authoritative, they celebrate each child's uniqueness while providing structure. And this is common in families that have communal values. They encourage self-expression, but with some guidelines. I'm thinking of a scenario right now, but I better go on so that we don't spend the whole morning here. The number 2 type of parent is the authoritarian parenting. This parenting is low warmth, high expectation. They are strict, controlling, and less emotionally responsive. Obedience is valued over dialogue. Their style can be harsh rules and little emotions. I'm going to use this cup to illustrate that. This one cup is I drink tea with, so it keeps things hot. So this authoritarian parenting, an example is this, when a teenager says, "Can I go to the movies with my friends?" They say, "No, you didn't ask the right way, and don't talk back." The parent controls the teen without listening. The teen feels afraid and angry, or like that their voice doesn't matter. What effect does that have on the individuality of the child? Children may struggle in self-expression, or they fear disappointing their parents. Individual preferences and unique traits may be overlooked in favor of conformity. Individuality for an authoritarian parent is seen as rebellion unless it aligns with the norms of the community, which shouldn't be. But as you listen to this description, you want to ask yourself, what kind of parent are you, or how are you parenting? Number 3, permissive parenting. This is a high warmth, low expectation. We describe them as indulgent and nurturing with few rules. Parents act more like friends than authority figures. It's like their style is friendly, no rules. And I'm going to use this, my other red cup, as an illustration. This one I like to use in the summertime. I put cold water in this one. So going back to our example, when the teenager says, "Can I go to the movies with my friends?" The permissive parent says, "Sure, whatever you want, just don't get in trouble." This parent says yes to avoid conflict. The teen feels free, but may lack guidance and safety. How does this affect the individuality of that child? Children are free to explore, to express themselves, sometimes without necessary guidance or even discipline. Children, their self-worth may hinge on external validation due to lack of boundaries. And that's the last thing we want to do for our children, right? That they begin to find validation from external sources, because our voice is not heard. They have no guidelines for life. And this is very common when we emphasize freedom and creativity, which are good things, but they also need our guidance. And the number 4 type of parent we're considering today is the neglectful parenting. Low warmth and low expectation. We describe them as uninvolved, emotionally distant, and often inattentive to the child's need. Their style is not present and no rules. So going back to our teenager example, the teenager says, "Can I go to the movies with my friends?" That distracted parent is busy on the phone. They say, "I don't care, do whatever you want." The parent isn't paying attention. The teenager feels unimportant, lonely, confused, and not sure where the boundaries are. How does that affect the individuality of that child? Children may feel unseen. Children that are raised by neglectful parents feel unseen, unloved, and may suppress or lose touch with their identity. Individuality isn't celebrated because emotional presence is lacking. And I found something fascinating about this type of parenting. In the expression of this parenting, it occurs in any culture due to stress, trauma, poverty, or mental health issues. I like to talk about like collective culture, collectivist culture, like communal culture. They like extended family relationship, like large family. I have some of them in my neighborhood where several family members live in the same house. So you find an aunt, an uncle, a grandma is stepping in to bridge the gap for a neglectful parent. But in cultures that are more individualistic, that child becomes fiercely independent and emotionally isolated. But here's the truth. Regardless of our upbringing or culture, we can choose to parent with purpose. We can choose to see, to hear, and to support each child because they are created by God uniquely and they are a gift. When you get a gift, you cherish it, you care for it. I know we've talked a lot today and it's the last day. So in fact, I feel reluctant to say goodbye, but there are 5 ways we can truly identify and celebrate the individuality of our children. Number 1 is observe their natural strengths and their struggles. Where do they show up strong and what makes them struggle? Remember, we're leaning in, we're being intentional, we're getting practically connected. Number 2, give them choices. The books to read, how they put on their clothes, and the hobbies they choose. I showed you the other day how everybody chose their own outfit for the day, and the picture ended up looking good. And the books they read, I showed you how I shared different books with my son, and he fell in love with the sports series, and he enjoyed it. So being able to give them opportunities, choices. Number 3, invest in their passion, even if they are different from yours. I shared with you how I shared tennis. My children all play tennis. Only one went further with it. I shared with you how they had a mother's karate for moms, and I joined, and I showed you my uniform, and even though I only got 1 tip on my white belt, but that was something out of my comfort zone, but I joined. So investing in their passion, even when it's not yours. Number 4, avoid comparison. There's no child that is the same with the other, even though they are siblings. And number 5, let them lead small decisions and practice under your roof so that when they go out, they're used to making choices, making educated decisions. We are preparing them and equipping them for their future. So think of your family like a puzzle, and each child is a unique piece that needs to be nurtured and fit perfectly in. When we honor the differences of our children, it's like putting those puzzle pieces together. They fit and create this beautiful picture. Because when you start putting puzzles together, you don't know, but you have the masterpiece picture, right? So when you're able to complete that puzzle, it's always a joy. Like I shared with you, do puzzles together. It was one of the things we started with in the beginning of our journey. So today, my challenge as we round up is this. Sit with each child and ask them, what makes you feel like you? When you listen, reaffirm. Tell them how you have seen them show up. Like this morning, I was meeting with a friend. She brought me some things for my event, and we were sharing ideas on colors and decorations. And my daughter just said, would you like some water? So she went and brought water for my friend and brought one water for me, because she saw that we've been talking and just dialoguing on these ideas and conversation going on Pinterest, going on all these places. And that is her showing up as that leader that I see her to be, and serving a need. Begin to observe. Now that I said it, I need to tell her that. So we want to voice that affirmation to them. We want to, let me recap quickly. There's 4 types of parenting we talked about. There's the authoritative parenting. I just use this cup just for visual. We talked about the authoritarian parenting. I just use this cup for visual. We talk about permissive parenting. And the one I didn't show you is that there's a cup here for the neglectful parenting. This one it's not present. There's no rules because there's something about this cup. You can just Open it and close it. Open and close. Open and you can open and close. Open and close. So that parent is not present. They can be all over the place, pretty much. We don't want to be. We want to adjust. We do not want the pressures of parenting through the teen years to turn us into neglectful parenting. Who gives up? We want to be intentional. So I encourage us to celebrate the individuality of our children by letting your child choose their cap, their interests, the style, their voice. I shared several caps with you, but this one matches my earring sort of, so I'm gonna wear this one. Letting your child choose the cap is letting them find their interest, their style, their voice. Laugh with them. Don't let us always find something to correct, something to rebuke, something to focus on that they are not doing right. Let's catch them doing something right. And sometimes, let's not be too quick to judge as this behavior is rebellious. It might be curiosity, it might be creativity, but let's be curious, not furious with our teenagers. Because here's what I wrote down here. Every child brings their own color and hat to your family stack. And that's what makes it beautifully balanced. Talking about beautiful, I like these roses behind me here. Every child has their beauty for your family. So you remember, I always ask you to take pictures so that you can share with us. And let us raise kids who don't just fit in, but they stand tall in their God-given identity. Because chapter 21 of Practically Connected Parenting reminds us to get connected on a practical level with our children. Thank you so much for joining me on this 21-day journey. If you've done a little bit of it, thank you for being intentional. If you've done all of it, wow, I want to hear about it and give you a prize. And if you haven't even started, just look for me on Facebook, Remi.Ayodele, and you will see all 21 episodes. And you can implement and be practically connected with your children, because the emphasis here is we only have a 7-year window between age 12 and 19. Somebody asked me the other day, why 12 and 19? I'm glad you asked. Age 12 here in my city is when most children move to middle school. That's when full-blown adolescence kicks in, their individuality in their expression. They have more extracurricular activities that take them away from home. They have more homework, so you don't have enough time to engage with them even more personally. And that is the time they need you the most. And by age 19, what happens is you've raised them, you've hung in there, you've been present, but they have often, by age 19, they've gone away to college or to higher education after high school. And whatever you've taught them, they can come back and report to you whether the strategies worked, the challenges they faced, and how you can empower them even more, dialogue with them through life challenges. So that window between age 12 and 19, very critical for us to really invest with the future in mind. So as we sign off today, I'm starting a movement for moms who want to be practically connected in their parenting, and that's in September. Stay tuned for the exact date and venue, because we're going to be doing it live here in my city. So if you live local to me, you'll find the details there. If you don't live local to me, we'll find a way to Zoom you in or to Facebook Live you in, because we're going to be in a live setting doing this together. So it's going to be Practically Connected Parenting Moms Movement. And dads are welcome too, but I often find out that moms are the ones that want to have this collective get together. We would drink tea, and well, if you like coffee, bring your coffee too. But we would drink tea because I like tea. Actually, bring whatever beverage you enjoy. So, but here's Remi Ayodele signing off today. Get your copy of Practically Connected Parenting. We just scratched the surface with this series, and you can find your copy on Amazon.com or Amazon.ca if you live in Canada, Amazon.co.uk if you live in the UK, and Amazon or whatever country you live in pretty much. Thank you so much. I've enjoyed learning, growing, laughing, sharing with you. Have a most beautiful day, and until I'm back again on Facebook Live, get practically connected and celebrate the individuality of your children. I love you. Bye for now.